Is this better?
Call the Online Toastmasters Club to order and turn it over to David.
Okay, good start. And let's see. And David, despite previous advertising, is not quite organized. Hold on just a moment. Okay, I apologize. I had left something halfway set up. All right. See, actually, I'm gonna try and mute people again because we're still getting background noise. Okay, I'm sorry for the rocky start. I always start with a slide saying this meeting will be recorded. I started the recording just a moment ago. So if you're shy and you don't want to be recorded, you can run away in horror now. But our policy is we may use some stills and excerpts from the video as part of our public relations and social media outreach. We can destroy the evidence if we need to. But we do routinely publish the replay and then sometimes try and pull out excerpts to feature in other ways. But it's largely a matter of education so that you can go back and see your own speech, see how you did later. That's probably the first and foremost reason for recording things. Let's see. So welcome to Online Presenters Toastmasters. This is a club dedicated to learning skills for better webinars and online events. We do have a series of workshops that we've been putting together. The next one coming up on January 22nd is with Cheryl Rausch on how to connect with any audience. So Cheryl's a very prominent professional speaker and coach to speakers and author of the book Heart of a Toastmaster, among other things. So I hope you'll come see her. And we are also planning a panel discussion on how to start an online Toastmasters Club in February. We want to thank Ring Central Meetings for allowing us to use the Ring Central Meetings platform as our vehicle for these meetings without charge. And they do want to let me know that Ring Central is winning in the cloud and the cloud is taking over the world. So they're on top of the world. As online meeting tips, we do encourage you to use some kind of headset, or if you don't have an actual headset, even just some earbuds that you plug into your computer will help filter out feedback, and then mute your mic when it's not your turn. And it's too bad sometimes when we miss the laughter or the applause going on in the background, but we try and wave at the screen and let people know that we're having a good time when they're entertaining us. You can also toggle your video on and off, but we do encourage you to keep it on most of the time unless you need to go away or sneeze or something. There are a couple of different modes for this video tool. There is a gallery view where you get to see everybody, and then there's a speaker view that focuses on the person who's speaking at that moment. So those are good things to know. If you do want to become a member, we ask you to attend at least 2 meetings as a guest. We want you to understand that this is an advanced club. It's not meant for absolute beginners. I don't think anybody on the line today is in the absolute beginner category. And if you don't meet the default membership threshold of more than 6 Toastmaster speeches, we can make an exception. You would make a 1 to 2 minute speech about why you want to join and what you can contribute. I did want to mention a couple of little gadgets we've added on the website. There's this new multi-meeting member role planner where you can, instead of going from one agenda to the next and signing up for roles, you can see what's open on the agenda several meetings in advance and sign up for a bunch of things at once. So I'm encouraging people to go ahead and do that and think about how you're balancing out how many times you're speaking versus how many times you're taking other roles. There is also a tool for giving and requesting evaluations through the website. So these are all on the back end of the site. If you go to the dashboard area under Toastmasters, you would go to the planner for that planning tool I showed earlier, and then to the evaluations for this evaluations tool. So try those out, give them, I mean, I'm the person who came up with the software, so if it doesn't work the way it ought to, I can fix it. With that, let's do it. Let's go on with our meeting and hand off control of the meeting to the Toastmaster of the day, which again is me. I'm sorry for the monotony, but we will soldier on as best we can and have a great meeting. So we have a few folks to help us along the way. We have an counter, Andrew Byrne. Dr. Byrne, would you like to introduce your role, please?
The role of the counter is to listen carefully to everybody's speaking, their structure, to see if they are using any crutch or bridging words, such as you know, so, double clutches and start overs, and other words that serve in the role of bridging or crutching. And I'll give a report when called upon.
All right, terrific. We have a timer role. Dawn agreed to be drafted. Dawn, well, how will you execute the timer role this evening?
I will execute the timer role by holding up these folders. So when we have green light is for you got it, yellow light is you are at almost done, and red light is stop speaking. You've got 30, red light, you've got 30 seconds to stop speaking. Is that true?
Yeah, that's the rule of thumb. It is difficult to tell the difference between your green and your yellow folders. I don't know if you have...
will find a different green. I have many, many different colors, so we will take care of that. It will not be a problem.
All right.
Back to you, Mr. Postmaster.
Thank you very much. Magda very kindly stepped in as our grammarian for this evening. Magda, what will you be listening for?
I'm going to listen to the use of language. Anything that's going to excite me is going to go on my list. And then in the end, instead of just rambling it off, I'm going to do a really fast quiz on who said this. The word of the day, I've got it there in the chat box. If you go there, it is interactive. Our meeting is going to be interactive. We're going to listen. We're going to report. We're going to have fun. The meaning is there. Interactive is influencing two people or things influencing each other. And of course, when you use a computer and you're the computer user, there's some interaction there as well. If you want to know more about the meanings, it is there in the chat box. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Terrific. One role that we have that's a little bit different for the online format is the watcher, which is Adrian this evening. Adrian, what does the watcher do? Adrian? Her video feed is frozen, so I'm not sure what that means. Oh, Adrian?
Hi, I was in the chat room, so you couldn't hear me?
I couldn't at that moment.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Hi, I will be your watcher. I will pay attention to the things that are going on in the background of your screen, your lighting, and I will give you a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
All right, terrific. And we have, let's see, actually, vote counter we're also missing this evening. I'm going to just, let's see, actually, Roger, you want to be a vote counter? All right, terrific. Thank you, Roger, stepping up to the plate. So when we vote on anything, in the chat, there's a way of sending a private message to somebody by clicking on their name. So you would send your votes to Roger using the chat tool. And our chat monitor on that subject is Monica. What do we need a chat monitor, Monica?
I monitor all the traffic with the chats going on during the meeting.
Okay, terrific. And you're going to help me out because I can't often pay attention to the chat while I'm paying attention to other things. So having one person in charge of paying to the chat allows them to raise the issue that something's going horribly wrong, and then we can fix it. That would be the goal. All right, well, we have a couple of speakers that we're going to go straight into our speeches for this evening. Our first formal speech will be from Lois Margolin. She's working on the entertaining speech, number 4, the dramatic talk. Lois is a DTM. She's going to talk about her experience with her mom during Hurricane Irma. And this is going to be a mix of drama and humor to hold your attention in all sorts of fabulous ways. Lois, you're on.
David, could you give the official name of the speech before I get started?
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Saving Mom from Irma is the official speech title.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. It was September 1st, and over in the Atlantic, there was this little dot that was going to be a Cat 4 or a Category 5 hurricane coming straight for my home. My husband claims that I am related to Chicken Little because I always believe the sky is falling. So 8 days in advance, I immediately wanted to buy my hurricane supplies. My husband made me wait 24 hours. I'm one of those type of people that when we have a hurricane, I'm shopping every day and I'm clicking on Amazon to get my supplies. I overbuy. I understand that. And that's probably why I have over 200 batteries, 22 flashlights, and 78 candles in my garage right now. But for those of you that have been through a hurricane, you get it. Wednesday, before the Sunday event, I realized I'm not going to be able to drive my 98-year-old mother up to Georgia. She's not going to make that kind of a trip. I put my arguments together and we went to my mother's house, who lives only 5 minutes away. Mom, you can't stay in this house by yourself. You have no hurricane shutters and your windows are weak. They aren't storm windows. You have vases from your 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70th anniversary. Every inch of your walls are covered with glass frames and pictures. And all the figurines, they're going to shatter to the ground unless we secure everything. Come stay with me. You need to come stay with me. No. No. What do you mean, no? You have to be safe. You have to come stay with me. I'll be perfectly fine. If I have a problem, I'll call maintenance and they'll come up. Mom, maintenance is not going to come up. They're going to be home with their family. They're not allowed to leave their house and come over here to take care of you. You have to come with me. I'm not leaving, but thank you so much for the offer. Are you leaving yet? I turned to my husband and said, you deal with her. 5 minutes later, my husband comes out, my mother comes out, and my mom goes, okay, fine, pick me up tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we'll go out for dinner. When we got in the hallway, I asked my husband, how did you do that? He said, well, I appealed to your mother's emotions. What does that mean? I asked her to take pity on me because I knew that if she wasn't in our house, you were going to go nuts and bother me the entire time wondering, how's my mother doing? Do you think I should call my mother? Oh, we don't have any internet. I can't call my mom. What do you think's happening now? Do you think she's safe? I begged your mother, for my sake, please, 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 come stay with us. You know what? I didn't care how it happened. He's my knight in shining armor. You know what? I'm going to save Mama from Hurricane Irma. Thursday night, we picked my mother up. And it was fun. We had dinner with my kids, my mom, and luckily the hurricane was going just a little bit to the west. So instead of those 160 mile per hour winds, we were going to get 140 mile per hour winds, which are still extremely scary. My house was all buckled down, and Friday was actually a nice day. I knew I was saving Mama from Hurricane Irma. And it was great. We watched movies. We had a glass of wine here or there. We traded stories. It was really a very nice time until Saturday morning at 5:38 a.m. The power went out. Luckily, my mom was still asleep until 8 a.m. What happened? Why is there no power? How come we can't turn on the lights? Mom, we lost electricity. Oh, can I go home now? No, Mom, the hurricane hasn't hit. It's not supposed to hit until tomorrow. Every gust of wind, every rock that hit the wall. Can I go home now? Can I go home now? No, Mom, the hurricane hasn't gotten here. Even once the hurricane was over. Can I go home now? Can I go home now? Mom, there's a curfew. You can't go home yet. You gotta stay. Ow. How much longer do you think it's going to be before we get electricity? I don't know, Mom. But as soon as we know, you'll know because you're here and you're safe because I saved you from Hurricane Irma. I really do want to go home now. Do you think my house is standing? Do you think I could go home soon? As soon as the curfew's over, Mom. Luckily, 11 a.m. Monday morning, the curfew was lifted. My husband and I absolutely loaded up his car. We took a wet vac, contractor bags, those long yellow plastic gloves that you get. We also managed to take Clorox and Windex and everything you could possibly imagine to clean up my mother's house. We drove the 5 minutes to her home, looking all around with all those trees uprooted. I knew it was going to be devastating, and I am so glad my mom stayed with me. We got to her apartment, and we went up to the second floor, in the elevator, I might add, which I thought was kind of suspicious. Mom, stay right here. Let me go ahead and survey what's going on. I don't want you getting cut by any glass. Okay, fine, but hurry up, because I got to go to the bathroom. Not a problem. My husband and I walk in the house, and I look around. And I am so amazed and astonished. And I screamed a blood-curdling scream, and my mother came running in. What happened? What's wrong? What's going on? And do you know what I saw? Nothing. They had power. Every vase was still on its shelf. Every figurine was perfectly in place. Not one picture had even moved. My mother said, see, I knew I could stay here. Next time we're having a hurricane, I'm not leaving. I did all I could just to smile and say, but Mom, think about it this way. I saved you from Hurricane Irma. If you had been here, who knows what would have happened? And that's how I saved my mom from Hurricane Irma. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, Lois. All right. So we have just one more speaker this evening. We have Marrow, who is also a DTM, will be speaking from the Competent Communication Manual number 2, Organize Your Speech. His speech today is donations of a different kind. And let's see. Please join me in welcoming Marrow. Marrow, you're on.
Powerball lottery. Just imagine what we'd be doing if we would have won that Powerball lottery. My father was a systematic buyer of lottery tickets, month after month, year after year, back in India. He used to buy one lottery ticket per month, which cost 1 Indian rupees. Nothing happened for many years. One time, he won a lottery, 100 Indian rupees. Everyone was excited in the family. The next day, my father went to the temple and donated the entire money. We were shocked, dumbfounded. My mom was pretty angry and upset. Me and my brothers were dumbfounded and couldn't understand why he did it. He told, "That's not my money. I did not earn it." We asked, "Then why do you keep on buying the lottery?" "That's because of the social cause." He continued to buy the lottery. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, donations of a different kind. I will be discussing 5 different donations that we may be able to focus on. I'm sharing the screen here. Are you able to see the screen? The 5 different donations are blood donation, organ donation, bone marrow donation, brain donation, and whole body donation. I will be discussing one after one. Blood donation. Almost everyone here know about blood donation and probably would have donated blood. They keep saying one pit can save 3 lives. How is that? That means if we transfuse the entire blood, that is one way we can save 1 life. But there are components we can derive from blood. There are 3 components. 1, red blood cells, 2, platelets, and 3, plasma. So that way, a pint of blood, 1 donation of blood can potentially save 3 different lives. Then moving on to the next donation, which is organizing the organ donation. Organ donation, there are many registries available. In US, you can donate it and register when you are renewing the driver license. Other than that, it says that organ donation, we can save potentially 9 lives. How is that? What are the different organs that we can donate? We can donate liver, lungs, kidneys, heart, small intestines, and pancreas. And there are only 6. How they say it is 9? There are 2 lungs, 2 kidneys, and 2 parts of liver, that is left lobe and right lobe. That way, we can save 9 different lives using the organ donation. Now we are moving to the next one, bone marrow donation. It is the easiest one. Be the match. What all we need to do is take a swab of saliva and get registered in the one. That is very easy. And there are many myths about the bone marrow donation. As I said, they are just myths. They are not true. Let's move on to the next one, brain donation. Why do we need to do a brain donation? I hear a question from David. He is asking, how can I donate something which I don't have? Just kidding. So brain donation, if you see that one, once we donate, in US, we can donate it from the Harvard Brain Research Center. I have donated for that one, and this is my donation card. The left side is the Harvard Brain Tissue Resource Center. On the right side, my signature, my son's signature, my wife's signature, and my brother's signature. Let's move on to the next one, whole body donation. So as the word says, we can donate the entire body. So that means there are registries available either region-wise or country-wise. It depends on the country where you live in. So here, if you see this one, this entire body could be used in education and research. This is my father. As a teacher for his entire life, he had a will that his body will be donated to the medical university after he died. He died last December at the age of 94, and per his wish, we donated his body to the nearest medical university. So we have gone into 5 different donations, and they are blood donation, organ donation, bone marrow donation, brain donation, and whole body donation. With that, I turn control over to the Toastmasters. Thank you.
All right. Awkward moment number 2 is when the Toastmaster of the day forgets to turn his microphone back on and accept control back of the meeting. But on we move. We have the concept of table topics is usually expressed in terms of enabling you to think on your feet. Well, you still need to think on your feet even when you're sitting on your butt in front of a webcam. And so that is why Jim Dent is going to lead us in a table topics exercise. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Good. Well, today's table topic is going to be focused on something relative to the new year, which is New Year's resolutions or setting your goals for this year. So you can answer relative to a New Year's resolution or just setting a goal. So my first victim or table topic speaker, I think I'll choose Magna. And it won't be about flowers. That's an inside joke for any of you. So Magna, tell us about one of your goals that you're going to set for this coming year, either New Year's resolution or just a goal.
Mr. Toastmaster, it is 2050, and I'm almost 100 years old, and I'm visiting this Toastmaster club, and they asked me to do a table topic on my goals. Well, just reaching next year is going to be marvelous. Being able to chew my cheese with my own teeth, that is going to be marvelous. And then I'm quite past legacy program, and I'm past pathways, and I'm onto the new stuff, Back to the Future. I want you all to be there because it's really fun and games. I often watch the Back to the Future movie just to get a feel of what it was like in the old days. I still want to be up and about. I refuse to say that I'm middle-aged. Look at my grey hair. I'm not a late bloomer. Every year I've got new goals. So my goal for this year in Toastmasters is not to have a heart attack at any meeting. It is to enjoy the young men. And it is to do a little speech every so often. And maybe I can do another DTM, although it's not called a DTM anymore. It's called Fly Away. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Our next victim is, I'll call on Lou for this one. Lou, tell us about a goal or a resolution that you were not able to meet in the past.
Wow, only one, huh?
Yeah, pick just one.
Actually, I don't set resolutions, and for that reason that I don't really want to have a certain expectation around a specific time, meaning January 1st something has to start, and then it'll either end by the end of that calendar year or at some point. And although I do have goals and action plans around those goals, they're pretty much time irrelevant or time irrespective, meaning I don't really do the calendar to calendar year thing. However, with that said, one thing that has affected my goal setting or goal planning process repeatedly throughout my life is simply distractions. When, believe it or not, I know I look rather young, but I come from a time before the internet, believe it or not, folks. And back then, distractions, could have been, I don't know, ambulance sounds, police siren sounds, or kids playing, making noise, things like that. And even within my own life, say it could be the telephone ringing or the TV going. Now, in today's day and age, we have social media and political news, which I won't even go into that any more than to say what is going on with the political news. And of course, we have smartphones and laptops and tablets and all kinds of technological things that just distract us. So even though we have become smarter and more knowledgeable from a large perspective, meaning the population and people in general, and especially Toastmasters, with goal setting and action planning and improving ourselves and having the most successful lives, it is still pretty easy to get lost or to get dragged back with distractions. So if I can say anything, there may not have been one particular goal that has set me back or that I've lost track of, but it's simply something that has been a thing that has affected all of my goals, and that's distractions. Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Lou. Okay, on to our next question, and this one's going to be addressed to Carol. Are you ready, Carol?
Sure.
Okay. What advice would you give to us for us to be able to achieve our goals with success?
Look inside and figure out where you want to be. One of the guidance I give my students is not just to aim in a particular direction, they have to decide which direction to face. It's not about taking a step forward, it's about using our resources effectively to accomplish the goals that we've established for ourselves. But how do we establish the right goals? And I suggest looking inside to determine what you want to accomplish. Now, my husband says, and he's sitting right over there, he says he doesn't want to accomplish anything. He's quite happy with the way life is, and so he has no desire to continue down that path. So as the wife, this is what I do, as I say, honey, don't you want to get that done? Sweep the deck or whatever it is. And he says, oh, I'll get to it. Don't you want to do it today? Oh, I'll get to it. I said I would get to it. And so that's what makes life so interesting, is that we do look at the world in different ways. So I like it when I see that each one of us has our own goals and we each step forward in our own way to accomplish whatever it is that we want. I think it's really beautiful. So figure out what that is for you and then step forward. Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, on to our next person, the next question. I'm going to pick Norman. Are you ready, Norman?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about where you get your ideas to set your goals. Where do the ideas come from?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Where do my ideas come from? Well, Carol talked about looking inside, and I look inside or look up. When I say look up, I often pray and ask God, what should I be doing? And ideas come to my mind, but they don't come rationally to my mind. Now, having a background as a computer IT guy and a mathematics guy, I didn't want to tell people, well, God told me. So I used to have these elaborate audit trails that would try to prove rationally why the goal I had made sense. And then one day, the Lord said, why are you lying on me? You didn't think of this at all. I didn't. I was praying and being quiet and reflective, and it came to me. And that's the kind of thing that I tend to then focus on and look at how I can actually implement as my life goes. Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you. Karthik, would you like to try table topics?
Sure.
Okay. So my question to you is, why do you think people don't achieve their goals?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master, for calling me on. Changing our habits is something that takes a lot of effort for all of us. So I think back to the last 4 or 5 years, and it's been a steady stream of New Year's resolutions, right? On the one hand, I wanted to lose some weight, and on the other hand, I wanted to become better with my time management. I wanted to become better from a professional point of view, so to say. But all of these, when I made these resolutions, I was looking to change my behavior very, very dramatically. I was looking to create a sort of internal revolution as opposed to an internal evolution. What I think would have been more successful if I had to say, let me just do one additional task every day. Let me not focus on losing 20 pounds this year, but let me just focus on maintaining my weight, or maybe just losing about 5 pounds, which is quite manageable, I think. If I made these gradual changes, I think over the period of 5 years, I could have actually gone to where I wanted to be in 2012, 2013. But because I wanted to change everything overnight, I ended up doing too many things at once, and I ended up stretching my goals by very, very far. And this was probably one reason why I failed with my resolutions. And this year I've decided that I'm going to change things, and I'm just going to move very gradually, very steadily, but I'm going to get there. Thank you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, who's going to be next? Anybody want to be in table topics that didn't have a major role? If you do, just raise your hand and I'll see who it is. Otherwise, I'll pick on 2 more people at random. Okay, so let's try Mike Walsh. Are you ready, Mike?
Yep, sure.
Okay, what would you name one very important factor that you think is critical in successfully meeting goals?
Mr. Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters, and of course our guests, I have an issue with the word goal only because it's an aim, it's an aspiration, it's a direction that you're going into, and that's the problem. Is that all too often we don't think of goals as what we're trying to get to. It's just something that we're working towards. Perhaps it's a little, maybe not as exact as we may think. What we need are targets. We need something to hit. We need to go after what we want to go. I'll give you a quote, and I'll maybe tell you who it is afterwards, but the quote was that to absorb what is useful, reject what is not, add what is specifically your own, and then the part everybody forgets, shoot straight as an arrow. All too often we see what we want, we don't go after it. We look at it and we think, sure, I'm going to work towards that, but we don't take any positive action. The real way to success is to take a single step forward in the direction that you want, and don't stop, and just keep going. You may have to adjust, but just keep going in that one single direction, to concentrate your focus in one direction only. And then that way you'll at least find out, perhaps you're not getting your goal, but you'll know where you are anyway. And then you'll have to be able to readjust your target. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Okay, I've got one last one here. And I'm going to call on, let's see, who should I call? It's like picking Hollywood squares here. Let's try Jim Barber. Are you ready, Jim?
I think I am. Can you hear me?
There you go, okay.
Such a deal. Go for it.
Tell us about one of your goals in the past, any one you want, that you felt was one of the more difficult goals, and what why you were successfully able to achieve the goal.
Good question, Jimmy. Several people have indicated that they don't believe in goals or they have problems with goals, that sort of thing. And I'm in the same category. I understand what Mike was saying, and I respect that, but I take a different approach. To me, if you achieve a goal, it wasn't much of a goal to start with. The thing is to pick goals that are so outrageous, so incredible, that you don't have a prayer of making them, but you try anyway. You do your best, you go for it, you aim for the moon. Who knows what you may hit? You may hit a satellite on the way, but at least you're going to, if you set a goal, in a sense, you're limiting yourself. You're saying, okay, when I get to that point, I've succeeded. I've done what I wanted to do. If you pick an outrageous goal, something that is just beyond possibility, then no matter what you do in that direction, you've really accomplished something grand. So the goals in the past that I've met, quite frankly, I haven't met any of my goals that I can think of right off because I have such outrageous goals that there's no way that I'm ever going to make them. But I have accomplished really kind of fun things along the way. And so that's my answer. Mr. Topics Master.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. I'm going to end this with just a comment about myself. I set a goal for this past year for myself, and I met the goal. It wasn't too difficult. I had served as a club officer for 7 years since I joined Toastmasters, and I decided as of January last year I wasn't going to be a club officer this past year, and I was able to meet that goal. It was a nice break after 7 years of not having to serve as a club officer. And but you know, you get withdrawal symptoms, and you want to get back into the club leadership roles. Anyway, that's all I have for this evening. I'll turn this back over to our Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. I was negligent before in not calling on our timer for time report on the speeches, and maybe we can give the table topics as well. You can keep it simple in terms of did folks meet their time requirements, Dawn?
Yes, everyone met their time requirements.
All right, so we had 2 speeches from Lois and Marrow, and Roger is serving as our vote counter, so you can send Roger a vote for your favorite speech of the evening. And let's see, Jim, do you have a full list of all the table topics contestants, or Dawn, do you have that?
Yes, and I added it just to the chat, but I can read them real quick. Magda, Lou, Carol, Norman, Kurtik, Mike, and Jim.
All right, terrific. So send a vote in those 2 categories. And while you're doing that, we're going to move on to the evaluations portion of our meeting. And Scott's our general evaluator for this evening. We've experimented with procedures, doing it a couple of different ways, but Scott, why don't you go ahead and introduce the evaluators and then lead us through the wrap-up portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Just a bit of an explanation what my role is as a general evaluator. It is to just have a general evaluation of the meeting and also to evaluate people that don't necessarily get an assignment role evaluation. And it was a great meeting. But before we go on, we're going to have a couple of evaluations. So I would invite Lou Brown up to evaluate Lois's sailing mum from Irma.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster, Lois Margolin. Lois, what an entertaining and dramatic speech. A tough act to pull off, I will say, but you, with your experience and credentials, you did it. Congratulations. Wonderful job. You covered a lot of the essentials that make up the objectives for such a speech, notably including vivid imagery when you described Mom's very fragile wall decor, when you used even voice change in talking like mom. Now, although you didn't actually describe mom herself, we got a very good picture of what mom looked like simply from you talking like your mom and even describing a little bit of her behavior. So that was a very good way that you helped us to get a better picture of what your mom looked like. I also really enjoyed, and it added to your speech very effectively, your use of hand gestures and facial expressions. All the way from when you were saying like, no, and your hand gestures about your mom driving you crazy because she wouldn't listen to you. And I actually thought for a moment maybe the speech should be saving mom from Lois as opposed to saving mom from Irma, because I can totally relate when it comes to mom issues in terms of trying to get mom to listen. Not easy. One thing, when I heard your opening, had an idea for you, though. Here's where an area that I thought, oh, you know what, maybe we could do a little switcheroo here. You opened with, on September 1st, there was a little speck in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean as it's heading for Florida. Hurricane Irma, of course. And then you talked about your husband often refers to you as Chicken Little because you feel the sky is falling. I thought, wow, you know what, maybe you could switch those around and your opening could be more like, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. My husband also usually calls me Chicken Little because that's how I react to things. Because on September 1st, while this little speck, and go like that. So a little area of improvement there would have possibly made the opening a little bit more entertaining and dramatic for us. Also, in terms of a dramatic speech, it is vital that there be a climax. Now, I didn't really hear a build up to a climax. Now, there could have been, and this is maybe where the interactive part of my own evaluation comes in, because if any of you heard one, please raise your hand. I didn't sense there was a specific climax, but you know what? You had some great source material for that, and I'll give you my thoughts or my own opinion on what that could be. When you were describing mom's fragile and sensitive wall decor, you yourself could have been going through some anxiety at your own house and thinking, oh my goodness, what's going on with mom's house or apartment? Is it in shambles? Is it a wreck? And you could have probably interjected little bits of your own thoughts in there and stuff. I can just picture the glass shattering. I can picture the pictures falling off the wall. And that, when you had your final blood-curdling scream resulting in nothing, that would have been a great way to end it like that, with a climax that was otherwise everything is all safe and well. I'll also add one quick thing, since the red envelope, I think that is an envelope, is showing, is it would have been great to also have an ending that showed something of maybe a bit of mystery or some more dramatics, meaning I won't even tell you what happened during Hurricane Maria. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Lou. Well said. Great evaluation. Our next evaluator is Norman Dow to evaluate Marrow.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator and Morale. This was a speech with the objective to organize your speech, and the things that you needed to be focusing on were a strong opening, a strong conclusion, a well-structured speech, and good transitions. I think you did it really, really well. The strong opening, the Powerball, I was thinking, donations, Powerball? Perhaps he's thinking about the regressive tax that lotteries are, and you're donating to the government. So you really surprised me as you went into the list of the kinds of donations we can make with medical, body, blood, organs, brain, things of that nature. I think the speech was well structured. You laid out the structure, and then you actually went through the structure as you went through the speech and talked about each of the donations, one after the other. You transitioned between the different points. I heard the transitions, they were clear. There's one thing that you might want to do in your transitions, and that is to be more varied in them. Sometimes it seemed like you used the same transition between one point to the next to the next. And you can I would suggest or recommend that you might look at how you could interject a variety of the different kinds of transitions between your points. The speech overall was very informative. It was you added to the information by posting links in the chat, and I think those were very, very helpful. You summarized at the end, and it was a powerful close. All in all, I think you definitely accomplished your objectives with a well-structured speech that actually demonstrated good opening, good close, good transitions. And I look forward to hearing more speeches from you in the future. Thank you, Marrow.
Thank you very much, Norman. Now it's time to get interactive, because no meeting happens all by itself. We have a whole host of people that help us along, and to hear how we did with our grammatical presence, please welcome M.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Who used the word interactive? Show your hands. Who used the word interactive? Come on, David. You didn't do it? Then someone else used the word interactive, and I gave David the credit for it. Good on you. Make your light shine. It's good that people use the word of the day. Then I'm going to the phrases that I've noted down. Instead of doing a quiz because of the time, I'm going to give you the phrase, and then I'm going to wait 2 seconds. And then the speaker who uttered this has got to raise his or her hand. I want to see if you remember what you've said. The first one, relative to New Year. Speaker, where are you? Relative to the New Year. It's you, Jim Dent. Low. No, sorry about that. Who said fly away? I said that. Who said absorb? That is useful. Come on, come on.
Rally?
It's Mike Walsh. Absorb what is useful. Then someone said 1 Indian rupees. Yes, that's right.
Correct.
A time before the internet. A time before the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you, Lo. Internal revolution. Internal revolution. That's right, it's you. And now the very last one. So outrageous, beyond possibilities. Yes, that's right, Jim Barber. Oh, thank you for playing with me. I really like that. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Em. That's certainly a different way of doing a grammarian's report, but we appreciated it. It was excellent. Now to see how the watcher went. Adrian, can we have a report on what you noticed?
Hello, everyone. What I noticed is that our lighting is horrible. If you have your lighting on the side or the back of you, there is a shadow. If you have it in the front of you, or like the laptop where I have it here, my light is behind the laptop, and I noticed that it took away the shadow, because the first time I was on, I had it to the side, and the whole view was a shadow. So that is something that I'm going to ask you all to replay and watch yourselves, because some of you look dark and faded out. And if this were a webinar for business to ask for money, you might not think it's a professional person doing the video. So it's important that we work on how we come across on video, because these sessions are recorded and they are out there on the internet. So it's important for us to bring our best selves and to smile, because you're on camera. Other than that, the Camel Spark features were nice. That was nice to see. keep in mind when you turn sideways and the person's talking, that's hard to really, it's a distraction. We look at you turning sideways. Roger, you were doing up and down. I don't know what you were doing, but if you could just turn your camera off at that time, that would be great. And I think the last thing about that is Dawn. When you're showing the time, show it so that it doesn't cover your whole face. Maybe sideways will show the card as well as your face, and that will be good for us to see you as well. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Adrian, for shining a bit of light on the meeting today. Well done. Our next role is the R counter, and that's Andy Bean. Andy, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much, Scott. We have an advanced club. We don't have as many errors to be noted as you would in a regular club, but we did have some. Mike had only one, an ah. Jim had two, an ah and an and. We have Jim Barber had a so and an and. Norman had 3 startovers and an and. David had several ums, a so, a double clutch, and 2 startovers. And Carol had an and a so. The winner for this week's contest is David.
As is so often the case.
Thank you very much, Andy. That's a skill you've got to be a very good listener to pick all that up. So well done. We appreciate your listening skills. Next, we have the chat monitor, and the chat monitor is Monica.
Thank you, Scott. The chat that was going on today was very entertaining at times. During the speakers, they did go a little bit while they were speaking, which could be distracting to the speaker, but they had good comments, and it wasn't like it was all the time. They had some great comments. Lou and his politics, and he also brought to the forefront about some of the computers, the older computers we had in the chat, and also like first cell phone you ever had, making me feel kind of my age now. And all of the table topics people did an excellent job. I really enjoyed the evaluators, and they provided good feedback. And Magda, you are always a joy to listen to. You have a different spin and thought on different things. So thank you very much. And overall, the chats went really well. We got good feedback from our timer. She was able to put the names and the times in the chat box, which helps when we do the voting. So great job, Dawn. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Scott.
Thank you very much, Monica. A job well done. Timers report, anything, Dawn, you would like to say in regards to timing?
That was my first time timing in an online club.
Great job.
Yes, everybody did a great job, and I appreciate being able to do that tonight. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Okay, Roger, who was our winners and who was our losers?
Scott, which one would you like first?
Oh, well, let's go with the speeches first.
The winner for our speech is Lois.
Oh,
yay, Lois.
Table topic next. The winner is Jim Barber.
Hey.
Well done. Congratulations.
And our best evaluator is Norman.
Ooh.
Back to you, Scott.
Thank you very much, Roger. Very quickly, I'll just give a quick rundown of the meeting because I know we're running out of time. I really liked the table topics from Jim. A very smooth running session. Had some really good questions, goals and resolutions. It's bound to get some really good answers, and there was many great mini speeches. So well done to you, Jim. Our evaluators were both both Norman and Lou were excellent, because what they did is they give good points for improvement, and also what the speaker did well. And obviously that's why we come to Toastmasters, to get feedback so we can improve. So they both showed great qualities of evaluation. And Lou was very animated, which I really like, and had some really good hand gestures, while Norman was a bit more subdued, but he had the facial expressions which shone through and really replaced the hand gestures. So to both the evaluators, it was a great job. It was a great meeting, especially for the first one back for the year. We're always a little bit rusty, but I thought it was a great meeting, and I look forward to our next meeting. Back to you, Mr. President.
All right. So one of our, I don't know if it's a New Year's resolution, was to try and do a better job of ending on time, which we're scraping right against 9 o'clock. I do know that for next week we have some openings. I used to try and hound people at the end of the meeting, and we decided that wasn't a good use of time when people can sign up online. But we do not have a Toastmaster of the Day yet for next week. I'd like to at least get a Toastmaster of the Day volunteer. Carol, how wonderful. All right, Carol will be our Toastmaster of the Day next week, and then she can then nag you to people who do not sign up in the meantime. We want to hear from some of our guests who are visiting. Mike, I think you said that this was your first time visiting an online club, so we'd love to hear some of your feedback on the meeting.
Yeah, a lot of things. I've been, well, first off, impressed by the general Toastmastery of the club. I've been to a lot of clubs, and sometimes things kind of drop off. So I actually do appreciate a lot of the different elements that sometimes get forgotten. As far as the online goes, I am learning everything. I've got a whole bunch of pictures in front of me, and I'm watching how the cameras are working and lighting. And you can probably tell I'm in a log cabin here. And I've got some pretty cool backgrounds, but yeah, I got to move some furniture around. Anyway, I've learned a lot, and this has only been an hour or so, so I definitely am going to be back next week.
All right, excellent, wonderful. Let's hear from Jim Barber also. Regular meeting? What do you think?
A normal meeting, regular meeting, absolutely. The word is impressive. I was impressed with two things in particular. One, all of the participants tonight, with how comfortable everybody is on video. That video is something that's kind of new to me, and I'm just really impressed with how, as I say, how natural, how comfortable everybody appeared. That was really good. The other thing is you, David. You apologized a number of times about things that were going wrong. Frankly, I was just so impressed with how organized you had everything going. This was like coordinating a three-ring circus, and you were right on top of it. Congratulations.
All right. You're never supposed to apologize, right, too? That's another thing they tell you. Oh, well, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Dawn, you've been here a few times. Anything particular you noted? I think, had you been to a regular meeting of ours?
This is my first regular meeting of yours. I was here for one of your workshops, and that was awesome. This is a great club. You do well. I think everybody's really well organized, and I appreciate seeing advanced Toastmasters really expressing your advanced skills.
Advancedness, yes.
Your advancedness. I really do enjoy that, so thank you.
All right. Karthik, can we get a little bit of feedback from you as well?
Yes. Hi, everyone. This is my first time at an online meeting, and this is also my first time at an advanced Toastmasters meeting, and I think I enjoyed both components of it really, really well. I was surprised by how natural this is. I have a screen in front of me, and I have 17 very, very happy faces, and I'm happy to meet all of you. And the conversation was just natural, right? I mean, I didn't expect that things would be so natural, so thanks to David for that. And like I said, this is also my first time at an advanced Toastmasters meeting, and the quality of the speeches was way beyond what I'm exposed to, and I'm hoping to meet with you guys regularly and learn a lot from every one of you. Thank you so much.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm sorry that the timing's bad for you, but thanks for making the effort to be here. And let's see, Roger, also, you've been here a couple of times, but how'd you enjoy this one?
Great. I think it's right on time. Things are moving in the right direction, and there is no ahs and ums and delay. So therefore, where do I sign up?
All right. Well, that's what Lois wants to hear. She's our VP of membership. Just one piece of feedback on the feedback. Jim Barber mentioned something about things being organized and how we're doing things. Sometimes I wonder, you know, how much does what we're doing here relate to the stated mission of the club about getting better about webinars and online events? Because we're not necessarily presenting the kind of material you typically would do in a professional webinar, but what we are doing is getting comfortable with the medium. So it's very similar to the offline Toastmasters experience. It might not be exactly when you get up and you give a humorous speech. Maybe you may or may not have professional opportunities to do that, but opportunities to use humor in any speech and understanding what the power of that is great. And the learning the confidence, learning to get comfortable. I think all those traditional Toastmasters virtues are translating over into this medium. We still stand to do better, but I'm glad that people do see the value, and we do hope to see you again, because you being here will make it more valuable. Anything else? Lois?
I just wanted to add, I agree, David, that this medium is so incredibly important. As a matter of fact, I'm a president of a brick and mortar club, and I started a book/leadership online meeting that we meet once a month. And we have some of our top 3, our area director, division directors, and presidents and members joining in, giving experience about leadership to try and help each other on becoming stronger leaders. And I wouldn't have done that had I not had the courage and the familiarity with this kind of a medium. So there's a lot that you could do with this medium. Just have to stretch. And if anybody wants to get involved in the Leadership Club, let me know and I'll add you to it. But I thank you, David, because I wouldn't have done that without this.
All right, excellent. All right, well, have a great week, everybody. And those of you who are members, come in and sign up for a role. And those of you who aren't members, talk to Lois. She will guide you in the right direction to get you signed up. And we'd love to have you as part of this club. All right, so have a great week, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you all. Have a great week.
All right, goodbye for the moon.